The Mindflayer can be defeated and even killed, and the method might even be easier than you'd expect. Okay, well, I wouldn't say that, but it's certainly not as easy as the show would have you believe, because the Stranger Things finale got it wrong. Alright? This is not the way to kill the Mindflayer. I don't believe for a second that the Mindflayer is actually dead, and this is not the Mindflayer's true form, and once you realize that, you'll understand that they screwed up catastrophically. The Mindflayer's true form is this: a being of clouded shadow particles that can possess anybody and corrupt anybody from even dimensions. It can move between dimensions as long as a gate is open to his world provided. And let's talk about those shadow particles. Every time a victim of his is saved, particles go up from their mouth and into the ether. We don't know where they go. It exists as a cloud of particles. Killing a spider kaiju monster with guns and fire is not going to do it. You have literally just given it an opening to escape, and its particles to amass and possess something else, and create a new giant spider. That's how the Mindflayer works. Unfortunately, the Duffer Brothers forgot that, so I'm going to show you how to really kill it. What do we know about the Mindflayer? Its strengths, its weaknesses. What does it do? It can attack you with its particles directly, or possess a creature in its hive mind. It can influence different animals, creatures, and wildlife to melt and fuse into a giant monster which it can control and attack if it needs heavy lifting done. And you can use that creature or different monsters to stick tentacles into your mouth and possess you with its shadow particles. Yet again, it all goes back to the shadow particles. It uses the Upside Down as an effective wormhole, bridge between the Abyss, its world, and our world. Of course, it needs the gates open to the Upside Down, to the Abyss, because it cannot live without the Abyss. Its essence comes from it. Its very essence is derived from it. People think that the Mindflayer just corrupted a world and that world is the Abyss. No. The Abyss is a realm of pure chaos and evil. It thrives on it. It's a decaying world because it decays realities, it decays entire timelines, it destroys the order of a habitable world. What did Vecna call this place? A realm unspoiled by man. Why? Because Vecna, who is corrupted by the Mindflayer, of course, hates Earth and humanity and what it's done to it. He hates the fact that humanity's ordered the world in the arbitrary ways it has. It hates that humanity has created things like clocks, numbers, all these buildings and institutions as infrastructure because it provides too much fucking order. Nothing is free. It needs to be free via entropy, and that's where the Abyss comes in. That's why he wants to fuse the worlds together so everything can become pure chaos. That's what the Abyss is. A lot of fans have theorized, is the Abyss a dying realm? Is that why the Demigorgons and the Mindflayer and Vecna are trying to reach our worlds so it can escape their dying world? No! What's being done is the realm of the Abyss is being expanded to consume all worlds into entropy. And that's what the Mindflayer feeds on. The Mindflayer exists as an entity within the Abyss, reliant on it, feeding on the entropy and dead time that the Abyss provides. That's why its prerogative is to fuse our world with the Abysses. Okay, now that we have that straight, how do we destroy this thing? How do we kill it? The first method is the most problematic one, and when I thought about this, I was like, that's not going to work. We need to bait the Mindflayer into getting its true form onto our world. We bait it by opening all the gates, giving it a convenient way to come through here, leave the gates open. Then you start to use 11 or some kind of sonic weaponry to destabilize the hive mind. Let it go berserk, its shadow form go berserk in our world. Then close all the gates on it so it has nowhere to go back to and it'll fucking collapse and maybe die and be defeated. Its essence. Because it no longer has the Abyss to run back to. That's one way. Unfortunately, there's a problem with that. I don't want the full shadow form of the Mindflayer on our world at all. I don't think I want that. Because it could easily escape into another life form and then cause a whole fucking virus infestation. I don't want that. The other question is, okay, why don't you just take that exotic matter that's holding together the Upside Down and just blow it up, severing the connection? We might not kill the Mindflayer, but at least it won't be able to get to us. Well, unfortunately, the reason why we couldn't do that from the get-go is because Vecna had the kids that, unfortunately, the show needs to save. Holly and all of her dumb, stupid friends. So our team needs to go up there and rescue them and then blow up the exotic matter, hopefully surviving the attacks of the Mindflayer and Vecna. That's the problem with the finale. They somehow survived the attacks of the Mindflayer and Vecna in the stupidest ways. Again, this creature's still alive. The main point of this video is how to kill it, not how to escape from it and sever the Upside Down and maybe leave the opportunity for another wormhole to be opened up later in the future. No, we want to kill this creature clean. There is another way. We don't need a final battle where a bunch of kids are somehow outrunning a fucking giant kaiju monster. No. We can have 11 distract Vecna. Alright, we can have her distract maybe even the Mindflayer and battle Vecna. But we're not trying to battle and fight the Mindflayer. You're gonna lose. We're gonna try to destroy the fucking world he's reliant on. We're trying to take out the abyss, this realm of pure entropy. And we're gonna use the exotic matter to do it. Gotta think about this. What the hell does the exotic matter do? It helps to stabilize an unstable type of wormhole or an unstable realm. Where did it come from? Well, it came about when 11 opened the Upside Down for the first time when interacting with the Demogorgon. How she opened it, I don't know. Her psionic abilities allowed it to happen. The Duffer Brothers haven't even explained it. We know that the exotic matter was deployed here to keep this Upside Down functioning. Probably deployed from the abyss. Maybe the Mindflayer or Vecna created it. Who knows? I don't know if they actually created it. Maybe because we do know it has some of the particles linked to the Mindflayer, so it's still a part of it. Mindflayer, the abyss, somehow they sent a piece of exotic matter here to keep this fucking thing stable. This exotic matter was refined over time by Dr. Brenner and his people. They studied it. Now, without it, everything will fucking decay. The Upside Down diminishes completely, and the abyss has no connection to us. You could say, okay, why doesn't the team just grab the kids, go back into the Upside Down, destroy the exotic matter, and call it a day? No fight with the Mindflayer needed. Well, unfortunately, the Mindflayer is protecting Vecna, and 11 needs to fight Vecna, while kids are keeping the Mindflayer's attention, because if the Mindflayer helps Vecna fight 11, she's dead, and so are all the kids, right? And plus, even if you get the kids out and kill Vecna, this demon will come after you. What are you going to do if the Mindflayer is chasing you? What if it goes into its particle form? You still need to kill the Mindflayer directly. So, I've been thinking, what if we relocate the exotic matter from the Upside Down? Anybody thought about that? What does the abyss survive on? It survives on entropy, being undefined, ruleless. Exotic matter forces definition. So when it's introduced, the abyss begins to form boundaries, starts to become stable, the exact opposite of what a realm feeding on entropy would want, the exact opposite of what the Mindflayer would want. These boundaries create contradictions, and contradictions can collapse the system. The abyss dies by becoming real, formed, ordered for the first time, and the Mindflayer kind of could die with it. Mindflayer is this emergent pattern within the abyss, not a separate invader. It's a creature that can't exist once these rules are applied into the abyss. The whole point of it wanting to consume everything is that so everything becomes chaotic. Exotic matter, by definition, stabilizes something, makes it more orderly. So once structure appears, the Mindflayer can't be everywhere. It can no longer be abstract. It actually must obey causality, which is fatal to it. Here's what you do. You distract Vecna with the heavy hitters. I'm talking about guys like Will, 11, fucking Nancy turned into Rambo, so you can throw her in there with some firearms. Maybe Will can use the hive mind and destabilize it, helping 11 have a chance against Vecna. This fucker needs to be removed from the Upside Down. How? Well, the Upside Down will fall immediately when you remove it. So the abyss has lost its connection, the abyss would stabilize, the Mindflayer would weaken, and anyone inside the Upside Down will die. Now, this thing cannot be physically moved like cargo. You can't put it into a container and ship it off to the abyss, right? There are a couple of ways to do this. The exotic matter doesn't belong to a place, it belongs to a set of rules. It stabilizes whatever dimension it's phase locked to. In essence, whatever reality it recognizes as home. You need to change its allegiance, forcing the matter to recognize the abyss as the reality that must be stabilized, and not the Upside Down. Because that's what this thing does. Exotic matter, it stabilizes shit. That's why it's created. So, the wormhole is unstable when it's created. That's why the exotic matter was deployed. This motherfucker, the abyss, is pure instability. If both realities exist in the same phase, exotic matter, theoretically, will abandon the Upside Down and reinforce the abyss because the abyss is a greater unstable threat. How do you do this? How do you possibly do this? How do you make the exotic matter look at the abyss and say, that's the one that needs stabilizing, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to leave this wormhole alone, which will contradict the purpose of my own being because the wormhole will fucking be destroyed the moment I leave. How do you do this? Well, one is a dimensional resonance event. This is getting so, I don't know physics, so I'm bullshitting half the time when I'm saying this, but dimensional resonance events. You create an energy bombardment somehow that siphons enough energy to destabilize all the gates from the abyss to the Upside Down at once. Basically causes the fucking exotic matter to be confused. Like, what the hell is going on? Which is the abyss and which is the Upside Down? The abyss is the Upside Down, I gotta go to that. How do you do this? I have no idea. Use every single piece of technology at your disposal. So ratchet up to maximum energy use and just fucking do some shit. I don't know. The other way would be, okay, well, if we can't move this exotic matter, then we can just create our own and somehow lock it onto the abyss. Now, again, how the hell you would do this, I don't know. Another one is creating another wormhole from the Upside Down to the abyss and basically somehow causing enough wormholes to create an intersection event where the abyss would be at the point of the exotic matter's resurgence. This is so complicated. And this probably won't work either, but here's what I'm saying. This is the wormhole, right? This is the upside down, abyss, Hawkins, us. Get another wormhole here. Another wormhole here. Multiple upside downs causing the abyss to flood in, right? Causing this to be diluted with pure entropy and chaos, and causing this motherfucking exotic matter to see this as the place that needs to be stabilized, because this is where now all the energy is coming from. You know what I mean? Kind of. How would we do this? How would you create multiple wormholes? Well, how did 11 do it? She psionically did it somehow by interacting with a demigorgon, and it caused her to just go crazy and have a surge of energy that created a wormhole. Well, we need a psychic interaction with Vecna or the Mindflayer to create more wormholes. How you do this? You would need another fucking psychic like Kali. Kali got shot, didn't she, before this? Shit! Okay, let's assume she didn't. That's how you would do it. Create multiple wormholes. What does this do? Causes an overlapping event. Multiple wormholes connecting to the goddamn abyss, basically forming the upside down into the abyss as one in the eyes of the exotic matter. I'm just talking about it as if it's a living, like a being with eyes, but you know. So this forces the exotic matter to correct course and go to the abyss, and now the realities are overlapped. The abyss starts to weaken as it's being stabilized, because remember, the abyss feeds on entropy. The moment it doesn't have entropy, shit starts to go berserk, Mindflayer starts to go berserk. And then you can blow the fucking exotic matter up in the abyss, killing that dimension, killing the Mindflayer clean. Of course, you would need someone to do it, to sacrifice themselves and just go in and just click and blow up the thing. Maybe Murray could do it. I don't know. The problem is, once you've connected so many wormholes together, you're also thereby kind of, by extension, connecting Hawkins to all these wormholes that have created knots. You might kill everybody. You might destroy the world and the upside down and the abyss. You don't want that. So, you might have to do another thing. What is Vecna doing here? He's moving the abyss closer to us, forging the worlds. Have you ever asked yourself what would happen to the exotic matter between the worlds? Wouldn't it collapse and explode? Some people would say, oh, by the time it fuses with our world, the exotic matter would be exhausted, but the worlds would be joined together anyways. So while there might be an explosion, the worlds would become one at that point. Okay, I don't know how that works, and if Duffer Brothers know anything, but okay. What if we push the exotic matter up before they're able to come down in a certain vicinity, and meet Vecna and Mindflayer with the exotic matter way earlier than expected? What would happen then? Ideally, the impact of the abyss and the exotic matter would destroy both it and the wormhole, killing the Mindflayer and killing Vecna, right? If we were able to plant the exotic matter high enough and have the explosion be high enough so it doesn't fucking kill us at the same time, and the upside down would be destroyed anyway. So we would need to get our people to Hawkins from the upside down before this thing could go off. It's very convoluted, I understand, but here's how you would do it. You would need to buy us time. So 11 will buy us time. You're not going to be able to physically fight or kill the Mindflayer, but just distract it long enough for it to keep its form, its flesh form. Because the moment it goes into its shadow particle form, things get very complicated for us in the upside down. We need to push the exotic matter. How do you do this? Well, applying force opposite to the desired direction of the movement. Negative mass accelerates towards the force applied. So if I'm pushing this guy this way, if I'm pushing the exotic matter this way, he's going to come towards me. That's how it works, unfortunately. So we need somebody to be above, to be right above from the maybe through a gateway from the abyss to our world. Right above, pushing at the exotic matter so that the exotic matter will start to push up and levitate up towards us. Theoretically, I don't know if any of this will work. So maybe someone like Kali. If Kali's shot dead at this moment, then we can have 11 give Vecna false confidence by pretending to lose her fight and running. She runs, Nancy runs, anyone who's there runs into the upside down. Vecna's like, haha, bitches, and then proceeds to do what he's doing, colliding the worlds together. That's exactly what we want. Leave two people there so that they can grab the kids and get into the upside down when the inevitable occurs. We're going to use 11 to push against the exotic matter from the top. She's somehow there. I don't know. She would need to be right in between a gate, because the moment she tries to go through, she'll fall all the way to the ground and die, right? So she needs to be right to the gate. The exotic matter goes up, right into one of the portals that have been opened in the abyss, because that's what Vecna is doing. He's trying to open these portals. And then the kids. Vecna and the Mindflayer will see and notice that exotic matter has now entered into their domain from where it was supposed to be in panic. maybe Vecna will start to push back against it. Hell, maybe the Mindflayer will start to push back against it. Whatever the case may be, they're distracted long enough for Will and Mike to grab these kids. I don't know. The problem is, how the hell would they do that, knowing that the Mindflayer's spider form is still there, staring? You would have to rely on the fact that the Mindflayer and Vecna would both be focused on trying to get the exotic matter back down. These guys need to get the kids out. To be honest, I would just kill the kids at this point, bro. There's no point. Ideally, they save the kids. If they can't, fuck it. Let them die. Fuck them, kids. As soon as the exotic matter is there, high enough, somebody needs to launch a fucking missile at it and blow it sky high. Killing everything there. Killing the Mindflayer, killing Vecna, and killing the Abyss. You've done all three. The Mindflayer's done. Even if it survives the initial explosion, the Abyss is fucked. Its domain is fucked. You guys need to understand this. Unfortunately, you might have killed a couple kids along the way. But this video is not about how to save the kids. The video is about how to kill the Mindflayer. That's how I would do it. I would use their own exotic matter against them. Hurl it up into the Abyss. Force it to turn the Abyss inside out into a place of order that the Mindflayer hates, that the Abyss hates. And then, if that still doesn't work, blow it the fuck up. Blow it up. That's how you do it. You don't kill the Mindflayer by shooting bullets at it and taking it on in an actual physical fight. That's bullshit. You need to defeat it with physics. That's how you do it. Am I right or wrong? Maybe there's an easier way to do it. I don't know, but I couldn't think of it. Maybe I overcomplicated it. Maybe it's the cocaine. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.